Hi, everyone. Welcome to today's Lean Publishing tip of the day. We're going to be talking about the purchases section of your account. Um, just before we get going, I've got to kind of wait a second to see if I can get live on Instagram here. Still getting used to doing this. Okay, great. There we are. Get right position for the camera and everything. I'll get better at this over time. And also, yeah, I'm using a new microphone setup today. StreamYard shows me that everything's working, so I hope everybody can hear me okay. We were getting a little bit of pops in the microphone and stuff like that, so I'm trying to fix that. Yeah, so a little bit of housekeeping as usual. So for anyone who's watching this live, who comes into it late, anything like that, there's always an accompanying blog post for each of these live streams that you can find on our blog, so you can read them at your leisure. You can also usually find helpful links in there and things like that. Just go to our blog at leanpub.com/blog. If you don't see the accompanying blog post, you can just um, click on the little magnifying glass that you'll see on the blog and search for the keywords. Of course, you can also find this recorded live for posterity. There will be a link, obviously, or a sort of section at the top of the blog post where you can watch it. But of course, the best place to go is our YouTube channel at Leanpub. Please like and subscribe and all of that. If you like these lean publishing tips of the day, hopefully the idea here, as I always say, is to have these live streams be recorded for posterity so that Leanpub authors and Leanpub users and things like that have a kind of informal place to go to watch kind of just a kind of casual discussion of various aspects of Leanpub. This can be, we're going to try and keep them below 15 minutes typically. That's because for our LinkedIn newsletter, they don't let you upload videos currently that are longer than 15 minutes. So actually, that's a pretty good constraint that I'm going to sort of now keep to keep them relatively short. But the idea again is, Leanpub is a great platform. We have tons of features. We're always building more. We're always listening to feedback from authors to do more. So the site is naturally always kind of changing. And so the idea here is to have a kind of, live history of Leanpub and a place for you to go where you can have a blog post, maybe probably a help center article, but also a video to watch to help you learn a little bit about Leanpub. And we are trying to put in sort of chapter links in the YouTube video. So if you go to the YouTube video description, you'll see the little chapter links. Hopefully that means you can kind of, if you've watched a couple of these, you'll know you can skip past my intro to where we get going. I think I'm going to actually try and pick a time target as well within these live streams. Like say, 2 minutes in, when that's when I'm going to start the kind of proper discussion, so that it's easier for people to understand about that going forward. So let's get going. Today we're talking about the purchases section of your Leanpub account. So anyone who's used done e-commerce and used platforms online knows that finding what your history of your purchases is really important. It's one of those things that you don't think about until you need it for some reason, and then it's kind of like, oh my goodness, now I have to go find it. Oh my god, how hard is this going to be? Am I really going to be able to get what I need? Stuff like that. The good news about Leanpub is that Leanpub has a very robust purchases section with all kinds of features. This is partly because we actually, we do sell more than books. And although that is what most people will interact with on Leanpub when they sort of come to it, we have author services, we sell ebook bundles, we sell courses, we sell various author services. You can use, if you're an author and you've earned some money on Leanpub, you can actually use royalties that you've earned but haven't been paid to you yet to buy things. You can also, so we've got credits, things like that. We've got both credits, purchase credits and service credits and all kinds of different stuff. So there's actually a number of different ways you can buy things. So we've got to show all this in our purchases section. So let's go. Let me show you how easy it is to get there. This is one of the things where it's like, the fifth time someone emails your platform going, hey, where's the purchases section? You figure out that this is a thing that needs to be in a prominent place. So whenever I'm navigating around Leanpub, I always try and start at the homepage and go to the escape hatch. If you can see my mouse at the top right here, clicking on my avatar. Just click on your avatar and you can see the main account sections all at the top there, and quite prominently in alphabetical order, you'll find purchases. This is my kind of dummy kind of demo account, so there's not going to be anything kind of very serious in here. But so here, if you go to the purchases, if you click on purchases in your account, you go to the all purchases page by default. I'll show you the rest of the menu options, although they're displayed on the left here in just a second. So here's, you've got a nice thing where you can search by product, which means we say product because, like I said, we sell more than books. We sell books, ebooks, ebook bundles, and courses. And so you can search by the product name here. If you've got a particular product that you're looking for. This is particularly useful if you've bought, and as many Leanpub authors do, they buy their books for work. So you might have used a work credit card, and you want to track down that receipt or invoice. This can also be useful if if you some books you might buy for pleasure, others you might buy for work if you're an independent consultant, etc. You might be getting looking for like a kind of tax deduction or something like that. Um, so finding these purchase records can be important in various ways. You might have forgotten about something that you bought. You might have seen something like a sort of, sometimes people are up late at night and who knows what state they're in when they buy a book, and so they might be like, oh, did I actually buy? They might see something on their credit card and statement and go, oh, did I actually buy that? Then you can go here and find it. And oh, actually, we also have a useful link to your Leanpub library where you can download all your purchases or access all your purchases as well. So yeah, you can scroll down. This is pretty straightforward. It's sort of like, latest at the top, oldest at the bottom. I believe, yeah, it paginates at the bottom if you've bought a lot of things. And we've got a helpful little thing if the purchase was free or not. Since it's my test dummy account, a lot of these things are free. Um, you can also click in the purchases section, you can also click to get a custom receipt. You can just send yourself this. So what this does is it sends an email to your Leanpub account email address with an attachment, a PDF attachment, which is this kind of receipt/invoice for your purchase. And if you want to, you can actually add custom information here, like your company name and address, and GST or sort of VAT number details and stuff like that. And you can even click to save the custom invoice information to appear on future receipts. This is incredibly useful for people who are corporate buyers, who are for example, one use case we have in Leanpub is people who are at companies who have, someone's like, I've got 10 people on my team, and they ask sort of someone on their team to buy 10 copies. Then there might be some dedicated person like an EA or something like that, who's the go-to person who has created a Leanpub account, buys all these copies and distributes them to their team members. And by the way, we have a video and help center articles about how to do multiple copy purchases. But anyway, if you're buying on before a company, for people at a company, you might want to save the custom invoice information. Or if you're just buying on your corporate account and you've got a Leanpub account set up for your work email address, you might want to just use this feature, which is incredibly useful. So the second section on the purchases section is gifts given. So this is a very cool thing on Leanpub. You can give people gifts. All you need is their email address, and what they'll do is they'll get an email saying, hey, someone's bought you a gift. Would you like to claim it? They can then claim it. As always with such things, they do have to create a Leanpub account, I believe. I don't know if it always was that way, so that's why I say I'm quite sure that they do need to create a Leanpub account to get the gift. I'm quite sure that's true, which is great and very important because Leanpub books can be updated at any time. Even 100% finished ones, the author might go, you know what, I fixed a typo, or I need to add a new chapter, etc. So it's very, very important that anyone who buys a Leanpub book has an account, and so that they can download anytime. For their library, people might download something and lose it, things like that. So here are gifts that you purchased. It shows you helpful sort of like little pills here showing you that the gift email has been sent. That's what we mean by delivered. And then you can actually see if it's been claimed. So that means the person said, yeah, I want that. We've got a test one at the bottom here that's still awaiting claim. So that means that the person way back in 2012, we must have been testing that feature. So that was never accepted. You can get your custom receipt for it as well. So you can see a list of all the gifts that you've given, and I highly recommend giving gifts. People love it. If you find a book on Leanpub and you know what, that would be perfect for so-and-so, you'll make their day if you buy them that gift and they get a little email saying that someone's been purchased the gift for them. They'll see your email address, of course, so they know who it is. The next section in the purchases page is guest purchases. So at Leanpub, we try to make it as easy as possible for you to buy something, including gifts for other people, including sort of copies of books for your team and stuff like that. And so we have a concept. We did not invent this, but you can actually make a purchase when you're not signed into your account. You might be on your phone. You might not have your password with you. You might have forgotten that you have a Leanpub account. So what we do is we don't want to block you and make you do all those things to complete a purchase. You might be just about to get on a plane, and you don't have time for any of that. And so we want to make it as easy as possible for you to complete your purchase, download it. But if you weren't signed in, we don't formally add that purchase to your account. There's an extra step. It's in the email that you'll get. You'll get a purchase email. Click here, confirm the purchase. If you're doing it on the web, obviously you'll also see after you complete the purchase, you'll be taken to a page where you can, sign in and stuff like that afterwards. There, so you can either do it on the page you'll go to after you complete the purchase. You'll see, there's one more step, or you will see this sort of button in the email, the purchase email that you'll get to do this final step. If you miss either of those things, you don't have time, etc., what you want to do is go to your guest purchases page. You'll find it here. So for example, if you've bought a Leanpub book and you're like, wait a minute, it's not in my library, check the guest purchases page. It's probably there. All you'll have to do is click a button when you're next signed into Leanpub. All you have to do is go here and click a button, and you can add that purchase or any other purchases to your Leanpub account. So that's it's funny when we've had people sort of complain when they encounter this, and it's like, that's weird. But there's way more people, I think, our position is, that are happy that they could just complete their purchase and get on their plane or get, whatever they're doing, and then worry about kind of signing in later. The next page that I'm going to show you in purchases, so you can purchase memberships on Leanpub. You can purchase reader memberships and author memberships. These are all explained, hopefully well, on the pages that you can find on. If you go to our homepage and look at the menu at the top, you'll see author and reader. Reader memberships, currently they're going to have more features and stuff in the future. Currently, reader memberships mean you get free access to all free with membership books. If you go to our bookstore, you look at books, you'll find that there's a category in the drop down of free with membership. If you have a reader membership, you can get all those books for free, the free with membership books. There's close to a couple thousand, I think. The number's constantly changing. People are adding them usually. And here you can also get, you can also get, if you're a Leanpub author, obviously it's free to use Leanpub to write in your browser and publish and use tons of our features and stuff like that. But we do also have author memberships, which do have extra features, normal thing that platforms like ours do. If you're going to be, we recommend that if you're writing a book, especially if you're writing a book on Leanpub, you're definitely going to want to get a Leanpub membership. I recommend getting a lifetime membership. Being an author is a lifetime thing. It can change your life. If you write one book, you're probably going to write more than one. I do, and it's in our self-interest, but I definitely recommend that you get an author membership, get a lifetime one. If you can afford it, obviously. If your book is doing well, you might make enough from your book that you can pay for that and then get to that top tier, which is great. Obviously, monthly memberships are great too. So you can, but anyway, you can check those out on Leanpub, but we're to scope the conversation to the purchases section. If you've had a reader membership in the past, an author membership in the past, or if you've got one now, you can go to this membership page in your purchases section to check all your historical purchases. We also have a refund section. So Leanpub has a 60-day refund policy. So if you buy anything on Leanpub within 60 days, you can get a refund. This is the same, I believe, as Amazon KDP. This is a very important feature. Obviously, we want people to feel safe when they buy something on Leanpub. In particular, lots of Leanpub books are written in progress. So you might buy a book when it's 10% done. And if a book is, that's a sort of a complicated thing, because a 10% done book might be priced at 10% of what the ultimate price is going to be. So even if the author stops working on it for some reason, you might have gotten your money's worth anyway. But in any case, we make it easy to get a refund within 60 days of making any purchase. We don't get very many refunds on Leanpub. This is, I think, because people trust us and they trust our authors and things like that. There's a lot of transparency and things like that. But in any case, if you ever get any refunds, you can go here and you can see a list of them and you can see their status and get sort of confidence about that. And finally, we have our services. So I was mentioning before that in addition to selling books and courses and ebook bundles, we also sell various purchases. These are for authors. So Shelf Spot is a marketing spot on our homepage. And service purchases, there's various other purchase things like Translate AI and stuff like that. So this section is currently for authors. Okay, so that is a quick look at the purchases section. It's more complicated than you might think it would be if you're just like Leanpub's an online bookstore. We actually, we handle lots of different cases and we try to handle them very well and transparently. So that's the purchases section of Leanpub. I hope you enjoyed this live stream. Please like and subscribe on YouTube if you find our channel at Leanpub. Thanks.